Hello, today we're going to be talking about how the right eating plan is not a diet. And if we have not met yet, my name is Pam Bartha, and I'm the author of Become a Wellness Champion and the founder of Live Disease Free. I am very happy to talk with you today about finding the right eating plan for you, because this really can make a huge difference in not just living at your ideal body shape or weight, but also in helping you to live your best life. So for some of us, we might be having little warning signs, and we'll do a little quiz later to kind of see where you're at. For others of us, we're dealing with chronic disease. And there are so many diets out there, and how do we know which diet is right for us? Just want to say a quick hello. Make sure you guys can hear me. Hello, Melissa and Patricia and Teresa, Denise, Maureen, so you guys can all hear me. So please share this video with other people that you know are searching for answers to improve their health. Maybe they're dealing with chronic disease. Maybe they're dealing with multiple sclerosis like I did and some of you on this event with me. And we're really confused with diet, all right? So there are many different types of diets out there, many different types. Some of the bigger ones, and thank you so much for thumbs up and love and interacting with me, because it's really nice because I don't get to see your beautiful faces, so please interact with me. You can also type your questions in. I will be answering any questions you have about the eating plan that we are following, the Live Disease Free eating plan. All right, so there are diets such as paleo and ketogenic diet and other low carb diets and other diets such as vegan. That vegetarian has been around for a long time, but now veganism is becoming really strong and popular. And it gets really confusing for many of us. How do we know what is the best diet for us? So in order to really figure this out, I have this little saying, and there's so much wisdom packed in it. So the right eating plan for you, for your health, is the eating plan that feeds your body, and it also feeds the health promoting microbes in your body, and it greatly reduces the food to the bad microbes in your body that would make you sick. So we know that the health promoting microbes, they love fiber and nutrition, etc. The bad microbes, they love sugars, they love carbohydrates, they love especially the processed sugars. So bad microbes, what are they? Things like fungus. You've probably heard of candida before, but candida is just one type. There's different types of mold. There's aspergillus. There's so many different, at least hundreds of species of fungi that can grow inside of us and make us sick. They thrive on sugar. So even when we eat things like the grains and breads and even fruit, the natural sugar in fruit will feed them. So if we're out of balance, then we have to really reduce the food to them. And then things like bacteria and things like parasites. And if you haven't watched any of my videos yet, I do share a lot about how the microbes, if they get out of balance in our body, they can cause all kinds of symptoms. So it's really important to understand where you're at with your health, and then you're picking an eating plan. And I don't like the word diet, because diets don't work for the long term, right? It's got this negative connotation. We want to move away from torturing ourselves and following something that is, depriving us of enjoyment, moving towards an eating plan. So it's literally a mental shift, and that's something that I did 29 years ago. You may not have met me before, but I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 29 years ago. I thought I was a healthy person. I thought I was eating really healthy, but I had no idea that I was this walking time bomb ready to just be diagnosed with MS, losing all vision in my left eye, tons of tingling and weakness in my legs, terrible insomnia, bad headaches. I was flatlined on the couch. My mom had to step in and help me with my two children, because I couldn't even take care of myself. And that started my long journey of all of these things. And in this video, I'm talking to you about why it is so important to understand, like, to get through all of the confusing millions and millions of websites, and this is the best, that's the best, this is the best. But I want you to use your common sense. I want you to tell me how you feel when you eat this way. So I'm going to share with you the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, all the guidelines for it. And the exciting thing is that we have a cookbook coming. It'll be the Live Disease-Free Cookbook, Eating Plan Cookbook. And we have an amazing chef that's helping us to put together really tasty meal ideas so that you have lots of ideas, lots of flavor, and you don't compromise your health. So the key is that when we are out of balance, and how can we tell if we're out of balance? How can we tell if we have too many bad microbes in our body, the fungi, the parasites, the bad bacteria, and not enough good, healthy, life-promoting microbes? How can we tell? Well, I'd like you to give yourself a rating, and I think there's about 10 or 11 points. I'll see if I can, hopefully I can say them all here. So things that would give you warning signs that you're really out of balance. Number one is, do you have gut issues? So do you or do you suffer with bloating or gas or constipation or diarrhea? All those kind of things. Then we talk about the head things too. Do we have brain fog? Do we have poor energy? Do we wake up in the morning and we don't feel energized? Like we don't feel refreshed? Do we have this feeling that we've kind of lost our zest for life, that we're just kind of like humming along? Maybe we're dealing with depression or we're dealing with anxiety. You guys, every time I say one of these things, check them off. And that really tells you how out of balance you are. And all of these things, I mean, yes, there can be stressful things in your life, but if you know that, you don't have any major stressful things, but you just feel really down, or maybe you're dealing with a lot of anxiety issues, brain fog, memory issues, all right? So those are kind of like the head things. And then also your just strength, just feeling like if you go to the gym, like, are you able to work out like you used to? Or do you kind of feel like, I just don't have the stamina that I used to have? So those are some very common symptoms that you would be dealing with for sure, if you're dealing with being out of balance. And then other things that you should consider too is if you, let's say, get sick often, or if you have allergies. So allergies are also symptoms of these infections in your body. So this just means you're getting out of balance. Maybe you have sensitivities to foods, to chemicals, etc. Maybe you're getting weird rashes, all of dandruff. You're getting all of these weird little symptoms that you never used to have before. And so when you start getting more and more of these things, and maybe it's the dark circles and just feeling like you're dragging yourself through life. So all of those things are warning signs. And I had a few of them before I was diagnosed with MS. I had things like constipation. And if I ate the wrong foods, like Chinese food, I'd get a stomach ache and I'd have to lay on the floor. And not a whole lot of things. I wasn't sleeping very well. That's another symptom. If you're not sleeping well, if you have insomnia, maybe you wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes these worms are really active at about 3 o'clock in the morning. So some of you are like, oh no, is that me? And so the key is that there are a lot of warning signs that we can listen to before. And if we pay attention to them, and then if we start to make changes, the simplest thing you can do to start off with is to eat properly. So feed your body lots of nutrition, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, phytosterols, and antioxidants, and essential fats, and on and on. So make sure to feed them all of these phytonutrients from plants. And and that's also for your good microbes. So we want to build up the good, but we also want to decrease the bad. And so the bad, like all the processed carbs, as I mentioned. So with this eating plan, the benefits when you follow the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan is that you find that number one, you have a lot more energy. I'm going to share some successes of students that I'm working with in the academy right now. And I work with students that are usually dealing with chronic disease. And so they have very dramatic improvements just with this eating plan. So again, this eating plan is very specific. It's like we're following this for health principles. And if people want to lose weight, they're not losing weight because they just want to lose weight. They're focusing on health, and the weight just melts off. And so it's really easy to reach your ideal body weight when you're focusing on health. And I really hope that through this video you take that away, is please focus, if you want to lose weight, focus on getting healthy. because the weight will melt off with this eating plan. And if you don't want to lose weight, you can. You just have to eat more on this eating plan. So the benefits, number one, is that we find that if you're working out, you'll have a lot more stamina. If you are a high achiever at work and you have to have a clear mind and you have to produce, you're a high producer, then eating this way, you'll have a lot more energy and stamina. You'll find that it really discourages these bad microbes. So you're greatly reducing the food to them. So you'll see that all those symptoms that I talked to you about before that you rated yourself on, you'll see that they start to become less. Those bad microbes are still present, but they're not really active like they were before because you're not feeding them as much. And you are starting to see great improvements in your health and your stamina. Huge for anti-aging or aging gracefully. It's been huge for me, and we all want to age gracefully, and it's so cheap. You don't have to do Botox, you don't have to do all of these different laser treatments, just follow this eating plan. So huge for anti-aging, huge for endurance, whether it's athletic, whether it's just high performance, and then also mental health. That's a really, really big one. Is that we want to feel happy, we want to feel peaceful, we want to have a clear mind, we want to enjoy our life, enjoy our family, enjoy traveling. And so when you have good mental health, and the exciting thing is Dr. Amen says, he's a wonderful hero doctor, and he says that you can heal your brain. So when you feed your body and you feed your brain the right nutrients, you'll find that your brain is going to function so much better and your whole life perspective changes for sure. So, and then as far as I mentioned with the reaching your ideal body weight, is that as you're focusing on getting healthy, you're focusing on feeding the good microbes, feeding your body lots of nutrition, starving out the bad, your ecosystem does change. Some of the microbes are going to fade out, some of the good microbes are going to come in. But if you're dealing with chronic disease, you still need to treat them also in order to get the best life. So that brings me to the last point, is that if you are dealing with chronic disease, we use this eating plan to reduce the inflammation, because those bad microbes, when you're feeding them lots, they're living it up, they're producing tons of poisons, they're producing tons of inflammation. And so what we have to do is we have to greatly reduce the food to them, which puts them on a fast almost. So then they're less active. And then they are producing less poisons, the inflammation starts to go down, and we start to see really significant improvements in the students. They still have to treat the infections, but we see huge improvements. I wanted to share a few with you because they're really, really profound. So I'll talk about the eating plan first, actually, and then I'll go into the successes. So with this Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, why do we call it the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan? Because literally it is helping our students, the wellness champions, to create health. So instead of managing their sickness for the rest of their life, they are creating health. And we have so many successes. And I know some of the wellness champions are listening on here. They are my biggest heroes. They, against all odds, they are taking their life back or have taken their life back and doing the impossible. And I'll be sharing just a couple little successes with you in a minute. But what makes this Live Disease-Free different than other eating plans? So for example, why is Live Disease-Free Eating Plan different than keto? So keto is a really great eating plan. It's been really helpful for things like cancer and things like epilepsy and other conditions. Why? Again, because it's really reducing the carbohydrates when these people suffering with these conditions have chronic infections in their body. So it's making those infections less active. But the difference is that we know, because we work with the chronically sick, is that people that have chronic disease, these infections, we know that that's why, because we reduce the food to them, that's why they're feeling better. We know that they do not tolerate dairy products. So in keto diet, you can have lots of dairy products, but you take the dairy out and you're going to feel a lot better. We do find that they usually tolerate butter, so that's about the only one. If you want to be really hardcore, you can separate the butter. So if you warm it up, you can separate the fat from the milk solids, and that way you have ghee, and that would really get rid of all the dairy. residual, like the lactose and also the proteins. So that's a big difference. And then with keto, they're going down to about 20 grams of carbs per day, total grams of carbs per day. The Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, we are below 50, and we find, the students have been sharing with me, they find the sweet spot is usually around 35 to 40 total grams of carbs per day. So the reason we are higher grams, and let me backtrack, this is total grams, so we're including fiber, sugar, and carbohydrates. They're all kind of the same, but when you're measuring, we include all of those together. And the reason that we are higher than keto is because we believe that bringing in a lot of vegetables, high in nutrients, are so important for health and recovery and anti-aging and all the rest of it. So we do want to pick good produce for sure. And remember that all my information is for educational purposes. So if you suffer with any type of inflammatory bowel disease, please listen to your body. If you cannot handle 9 to 13 servings of vegetables, raw vegetables a day, don't do that. What I find is when I work with students that have diarrhea, if you cook, so steam, saute, stir fry, oven roast, any type of cooking of the vegetables, eat the ones that agree with you, but they're low carb vegetables. So my students are eating tons of vegetables. They're having anywhere between 9 to 13 servings of vegetables. So we can't get down to the 20 grams. We're not really focused on getting into ketosis. We're just focused on, we're dealing with infections. We want to greatly reduce, but we want to still feed the body and we want to still feed the good microbes, all right? So that's why we're at that point. So with keto, again, keto has dairy and we don't have dairy because we know with these infections, people do not tolerate dairy well, and it really slows down their recovery or prevents them from recovering from these chronic diseases. Secondly, we have many more vegetables in the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan than in the keto plan. And again, there's great benefit for the keto plan. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I'm saying these are the differences and this is the rationale why. And we find that having more vegetables, it's just, we just enjoy the meals. We're getting more nutrition to feed us and the good microbes. So I think those are the two biggest things. And then as far as healthy fat, so we will have, with a Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, we have no grains, 0 grains, GRAINS, so 0 grains, and gluten-free, of course, because we're having no grains, and dairy-free. And we have very limited fruit, so very small amount of fruit, maybe like half a green apple or a small kiwi or a quarter cup of berries maximum, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach with no nut butters, no other foods, so it can nicely digest and it's not going to ferment and provide food for these bad microbes. We avoid all beans, the legumes, the kidney beans, the lentils, all of those, because although they're healthy, they really are, and they have a lot of good fiber for the good microbes. A lot of the fiber and the carbs in it, it's feeding the bad microbes. So all I'm saying is if you try this, you'll know if it works for you or not. I've had so many people watching my videos and they send me emails saying how much has changed their life just by changing their eating plan. So we have, again, lots of low carb vegetables. So that does not include no sweet potato, no yams, no peas, no corn, very limited roots, because otherwise you'll be over the 30, but you'll be way over the 50 total grams of carbs. But again, if you want to get to that 35 to 40 total grams of carbs per day. So with the eating plan, those things I mentioned, lots of healthy fats, enough healthy fats to keep your weight on, all right? Moderate protein. And this is where, you know, we're not bodybuilders in this program, and this is different. I don't believe in, you know, like 5 or 6 chicken breasts and all these shakes. We don't do any shakes. So just eat enough protein to keep your muscle mass on. You know, listen to your body when you feel full. Yeah, that was good. If you're a man and you're working in construction, you're going to need more protein than somebody who's sedentary like myself, sitting. Yes, I work out, but I don't work out 5 to 8 hours a day, physically hard labor. So listen to your body. What makes you feel good? And of course, we avoid all caffeine and alcohol, etc. So yes, people get headaches when they go on the eating plan. When they come off of the caffeine for a week, there again, you can put in a little decaf and kind of wean your way off over the week. But when you follow this eating plan, you just feel so much better. And then over time, if you're a healthier person, over time you will start to have a shift of your microbes. And again, we do have raw sauerkraut to help bring back the good microbes. Homemade is always best. So I just want to make sure I included everything, enough healthy fat. And, you know, for people that don't want to lose weight like myself, I can't afford to skip meals. I can't afford to skip snacks. Like, how terrible is that, right? And how wonderful to be free of scales, to be able to not have to weigh yourself, to be able to eat whenever you want, to never just feel like you're depriving yourself, and to eat healthy, fresh tasting food. Yes, you do have to be prepared. Yes, you have to have the right food in the house. It's easy to travel with. There's so many restaurants now that accommodate. They have lots of grilled vegetables. They have grilled meats. They have all kinds of wonderful salads. You can get some extra virgin olive oil and some piece of lemon or lime on the side. So there's lots of ways that you can eat this way, whether you're traveling, whether you're at home, or whether you're at work. Just pack your leftovers to work. So with that, I want to share a few successes with you. And please feel free to put in any questions you have about the eating plan, because there's some little things that really make a difference that maybe I have not talked about that you have questions about. And then also, I wish we could do it faster. It is going to take a few months to have the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan cookbook, but I'm super excited because I know it's going to be great, and it's going to tell you how many carbs are in each meal, so you will not have to guess, and you won't feel, for those of you that want to follow this eating plan, that you will know what you're supposed to eat, and you don't have to worry about taking dairy out, and you don't have to modify the diet or the recipes, I should say, and they will taste good because we have an amazing chef that has won many awards, so which I am so incredibly blessed. All right, so I'm going to go to the comments here. Hi, Jeffrey. There we go. So lasagna. So this is where I know that a lot of us, we want to go to the spaghetti and meatballs and lasagna, etc. So what I would do is, I think that you are one of my newer students, and what I would do is skip lasagna for right now. So the meal ideas that we have, things like instead of, let's say, tacos, we would do like a taco salad. Try to eat your food in, if you're recovering from chronic disease, try to eat your food in as close to the natural state as possible. So I'm just trying to think, so the problem with lasagna is that we're avoiding the tomato sauce because that really holds people back from recovery, right? That is something that you would add back in a little bit later on if you've recovered over a great period of time. So again, you know, you could do lasagna noodles, but there again, what are you going to just do meat with lasagna noodles? It's just not going to work very well. So I would skip something like lasagna right now, but taco salads are fine and wonderful. You can do things like get a spiralizer, and you can do some zucchini noodles. Zucchini is pretty much the only squash that we would eat in the recovery phase when we're wanting to, you know, get rid of all those horrible symptoms that we're dealing with, the head symptoms, the gut symptoms, the fatigue symptoms, the pain symptoms, right? So what we want to do is we want to really keep it simple. And if I had things like, if I made homemade meatballs and I didn't put any bread or anything in it, a lot of times what we do with meatloaf is just putting an egg in it, and it'll hold it together well, and spice it up. Use lots of herbs, etc. That's fine. Garlic, all of that's great. And then we'll take you can make some zucchini noodles, but don't just do a whole plate of zucchini noodles with some meatballs again. So zucchini is fine as a serving of a vegetable, and it's a low enough carb vegetable, but have some variety. So we're having 2 to 3 different types of vegetables with each meal. All right, so, and this sometimes takes time for people to start, okay, well, I'll add in one more, and because we're not used to, some people aren't used to eating vegetables at all. And so it's really important to just work it in as you can. If you're really sick and you are looking for a game plan and you want to recover, you want to be a wellness champion, then what you would do is listen to the masterclass training that I have in the feed. And you can listen to my masterclass training, you can join us, and you can get on the bandwagon. And we have the amazing Live Disease-Free Academy where you can actually recover from chronic disease. But getting back to this, I would avoid lasagna for right now. I just don't have a recipe in my head because we're not grinding and processing a lot of things. And I don't think it would taste very good. But there's lots of other things that would taste good. And Jeffrey, what about goat cheese? So we would skip all of the cheeses, not just dairy cheese, but also the goat cheeses. You're very welcome. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Lance. Hi, Deanna. You guys are all professionals. You know the eating plan well. Question, what is the eating plan? Stephanie is wondering. So the eating plan is the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, because today we're talking about what is the best eating plan for you. And the fact that an eating plan, I would really hope that, you know, in this day and age, we're shifting away from diet and we're talking about eating plans, because diet is something that is got a very negative tone. It's short-lived, it's torture yourself, whereas an eating plan is like a new way to live, right? It's a way to create health, to live a long, healthy, and happy life. And so I don't know when you joined in, Stephanie, but the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan is what I was comparing it to. Oh, what I forgot to do is mention, okay, what's the difference between paleo and the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan? So again, paleo is a really wonderful eating plan, but they will have more carbohydrates. So they can have things like sweet potatoes, they can have chocolate, they can have wine. I'm trying to think what else. Just higher carbs. Oh, and they can do baking with flour, like nut flours. And so when you do those kind of things, then the total grams of carbs are going to go a lot higher. So they're more decreasing the grains, but cooking with nuts and, you know, bringing in even starchy vegetables like sweet potato. And it's better than eating tons and tons of bread, etc. But if you're really wanting to up-level your health and you're dealing with symptoms, whether it's chronic disease or just annoying symptoms, try it. Try going grain-free. Try reducing the total grams of carbs lower, and you will see life-changing experiences, and that's what we see in our students. So the difference again is that we're both grain-free, that the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan would be lower in carbohydrates than the paleo. So we would not do any baking with nuts, like nut flours, like making nut muffins or nut bread, etc. We keep it really low. So we're really, really high on vegetables. We could be actually eating a lot more vegetables than most vegetarians, to be honest. Because to be vegetarian, you're just avoiding animal protein. Oh, and I should say too, with a Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, the difference between, let's say, eating as a vegan versus a Live Disease-Free Eating Plan, we do incorporate animal protein for sure. When you bring it in, you try it yourself. When you bring it in, you just feel stronger, clear mind, keeping your muscle mass, blood sugar stays level. You can try. You guys know what works for you and what doesn't work, and it's amazing how much that helps. We do have students that take the Live Disease-Free Academy that follow vegetarian. And so while they are wanting to decrease the food to those bad microbes that are making them sick, they will still have things like egg and fish and possibly some chicken, but for sure egg and fish. So there are vegetarians that do eat a little bit of animal protein, and so they can get through it fine. Once you're back in balance, like once you've really treated the fungal overgrowth, the parasitic infestations, the bacterial, thank you for all the love and all of the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It's nice that I can see that I'm not just talking to myself here. But once you've gotten rid of the brain fog and you have lots of energy and you're sleeping well through the night and you're exercising really well and you feel amazing, if you want to try having a night or two with no animal protein, going total vegetarian, absolutely try it. And your body will tell you what it wants. If you continue to have the energy and feel great, you will. And if it doesn't, listen to your body. It will tell you what, and that will be the biggest guide that I could say. So that would be helping you to tell the difference between vegan. There's absolutely no animal food. No source of your food comes from animal. And where we do rely a lot on protein from animals and butter, etc. And so I shared, I think, the biggest differences between the main eating plans that are out there. All right, on to the last thing. And I will answer a few more questions, but I just love to share the successes because this is really the truth of what's going on. And I'm just going to share a couple of things. So for myself, all I can share is that I have lived MS-free for 29 years. Does that mean that I don't work on my health? No, that means that I live by what I teach. And if you are looking for a plan to recover from any type of chronic disease, make sure to watch my masterclass training. It is in the feed. And you can learn all the steps, and then you can, if you're ready to get started, you can get started right away. But for me, I thought I was a healthy person. I didn't have a lot of warning signs. I had, like I said, a little bit of constipation throughout my life. And yes, some gas and bloating and stomach aches if I ate the wrong foods. Feeling a little tired when my kids were, Danielle was 2 years old and my son was just 6 months old. So, but it wasn't extreme fatigue. It was like, a young mother fatigue. You're not sleeping through the night. And I literally went from that type of a person to losing all vision in my left eye, and being flatlined on the couch, not being able to take care of my family. So many of you, what I'd say is listen to the little warning signs. You don't have to hit the brick wall like I did or like many of the wellness champions did. Please listen to all these things and turn it around. And your first step is the eating plan for sure. So the benefits of living this way for me is that, I don't know why, but over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting a lot of compliments, like they're thinking that I am the mother of my grandchildren, which is really cool. So that's kind of fun. I'm like, no, they're like, I went to this mother's group and I was watching my 2 grandkids and they're like, oh, it's so nice to have a young mom running with the kids. And I'm like, I'm their grandmother. And they all look at me like, what? So, because there were other grandmothers they're babysitting. So that is fun, is when you get compliments. Like, it's nice, and I'm not spending a lot of money on anti-aging. And for me, it's all about keeping up with my family and keeping up with my grandkids because I love them so much and I have so much fun with them. But then, as far as, a lot of you are trying to get to your ideal body shape, or you're trying to get that weight down. And it doesn't have to be so hard, and it does not have to cost so much. I know a lot of you are spending $1,000 or more with these different agencies, getting special foods and getting weighed in and having all these accountability and feeling like sometimes we don't feel restricted, but it's a huge cost. It is not sustainable. You know that when you stop working with them that it comes back. And so when you eat this way for health, people reach their ideal body weight. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I have to eat more to keep my weight on, which is awesome. So one of our students just this week reported in, I have come down 20 pounds since starting in January, just a couple months ago, 30 more to go. And more importantly, the goal is a stronger, healthier body. She's got it. The second student I just wanted to share, good news, I've dropped more weight, about 12 to 13 pounds, but better yet, my daughter has noticed and she's following my lead, and she's dropped a few pounds also. And for me, it's about health. The weight is a bonus. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's what these students are doing in the Live Disease Free Academy. And then another couple of things I wanted to share is successes from students just with the eating plan. So remember I said how all kinds of symptoms improve when you follow the Live Disease Free eating plan. So this is an eating plan, not a diet. This is for life. You can make some adjustments as you get healthier and healthier. You might bring in a little bit more food, or a little bit more carbohydrates with your vegetables, etc. But it's very satisfying and you're not hungry at all. So what she shared, this is a student that shared, I have more energy with this eating plan. My bladder issues are gone. I no longer have to use bladder protectors. My gas and bloating issues have subsided. And I'm only on the 2nd week of following the eating plan, which is amazing. And another student shared, Now this is really huge. She is somebody who has a lot of symptoms of MS, but she does not have a diagnosis of MS. And I work with a lot of people that they are not getting the diagnosis of MS, but they may have many, many symptoms, neurological symptoms. So it's from these infections. So she shared, I started the eating plan, the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan. My symptoms subsided or completely went away. I had optic neuritis. My left eye drooped. I slurred my words. I had problems swallowing. And I had problems lifting my left arm. I literally was running to the bathroom because of bladder problems. With the eating plan, all this cleared up. And more bonuses, I lost 30 pounds, and I have no inflammation or bloating, and my perimenopausal symptoms completely disappeared. Best of all, no more hot flashes. That is something I just wanted to mention too, is that a lot of women that start working, they become a wellness champion and they start working with the Live Disease-Free Academy. They believe that they're going through menopause. They have all these hot flashes and mood swings, etc. And I say to them, I don't know, usually 99.9% of the time with my students, it is infections and possibly nutritional deficiencies. But as I start treating the infections or even reducing the food to those infections, their symptoms of menopause go away, and they're always like, oh, I guess it wasn't menopause. So symptoms of menopause is not, it's common, but it is not something that we should be experiencing. It means that we have a lot of microbes out of balance. We could possibly also have nutritional deficiencies. All right, so, and then she shared, best of all, I was able to dance for 5 to 10 minutes in heels. How many women would love to be back in heels again? Before my gait acted up. So she's in the journey. These are students that are in the program right now getting their life back. They are creating health. And then just a couple of last little successes I want to share that are really, really huge. So one of the students, she has had a clenched hand. She has multiple sclerosis and she's had a clenched hand for many years. And just by starting the eating plan, and she is just starting to treat the infections, she started to have, I think your index finger is this one. She started to have mobility with her index finger, and then her hand softened and opened. And what has she shared now this week? She shared, I continue to show great improvements and progress with my clenched hand. It is beginning to loosen up and my fingers are straightening more every day. Like, I never promised something like that is possible. But the body is a miracle, and when you give it opportunities to heal itself, it's truly amazing. And it's such a wild ride to see these things happen. She shared, I'm getting stronger as well as feeling more present every day. And then she just shared, my only setback is that I'm just too ambitious and I'm just going too hard at it. So I had to back off and go a little bit more slowly, and doing super well again. And that is the benefit of working with a coach, working with me, is that working with our coaches, myself and other coaches that work in this Live Disease-Free Academy, is that we guide you through this. So it's like, no, you're going a little too fast. You've got to switch this and this up, and then you're back moving forward again. So happy for her. And she's just said it feels so good. And a huge thing, she was on really strong pain medication before she started. And she said, I'm doing really well, weaning off of all the pain medication, almost off of one of them. And she is working with her doctor, of course, because we do not replace the necessary measures of practitioners. So her pain management doctor is super excited about the progress that she's making. And she has literally just started the eating plan, supporting the body a little bit. That's what we do in the Live Disease-Free Academy. This eating plan that I talked to you about today, then we support the body in many ways. Then we look at symptoms to see what kind of infections do you have, which are the microbes that are out of balance the most. And then we start to treat. And this is where people get their life back. Teaching people how to be the director of their health, how to take charge of their health, how to play an active role in their healthcare for the rest of their life. This is how I have lived 29 years free of MS. And you can too. Everyone can. You just have to learn the skill for sure. So make sure to watch my masterclass training if you want to hear more about this. And thank you again for all of the love. I'm going to go on to the questions here. Hi, Deanna and Stephanie and Marie. You're so welcome. Thank you for all the love. Kelly, I don't know if this thing moved. And I'm not sure if this is, I think this is Dan. And as far as headaches or dizziness, that is usually caused by the infections for sure. And those will correct, especially migraines too. A lot of people don't realize that. My thing will not move. There we go. Okay, I'll start at the top. All right, hi Antoinette. You can't hear me. Okay, everyone else can hear me. And hi Yvonne. You're still in awe of the energy. Oh, you're still in awe of the energy that you have since you started the program. Way to go. Happy for you. Isn't that amazing? Who wants more energy, right? The Live Disease-Free Eating Plan will give that to you. And so will treating infections if you have to. Thanks for all the love. Serapha, pardon me, Adam, if I pronounce your name. Anyone else having sound issues? No, it could be, oh dear, I hope it's not no sound. Most people can hear me, I believe. Will the weight loss level off? So Maureen, what we do in the eating plan is that if you want to lose weight with the eating plan, then you just follow it and you incorporate healthy fats. But if you get to a place where you're feeling really well and you're at your ideal body weight, then you can just eat more often and you can bring in more healthy fats if you haven't fully recovered. Otherwise, you can bring in a little bit more carbohydrates in the vegetables, etc. But you definitely don't have to keep losing weight. But it's painless weight loss if you want to lose weight. Thank you so much, Maureen, for your kind words. Hi, Marie. Yes, you certainly can email me. Please do. And hi, Joan. You're back. Yay. Scott, hi. Oh, last week I tried to do a video for you about, it was really talking about, depression and anxiety, why we're seeing that so commonly in chronic disease. And Facebook was down, so I could not do the Facebook Live last week. So please go to our YouTube channel, Live Disease Free. Make sure to subscribe so that you always know whenever I'm putting up new trainings, and you'll see it there. All right, you can watch it there. So I just recorded just to myself, which was kind of boring, but I just wanted to make sure you got that. Okay, so Scott, that you are watching my live video now with your wife, and you just had a neurologist appointment this week where there is a probability of, I'm guessing, multiple sclerosis. So I really hope that you, Scott, watch my videos on YouTube, Facebook, Live Disease Free. You do, if you are coming up with a diagnosis of MS, the sooner you treat these infections, the easier it is. It still work, but you can turn it around. You can bury this part of your life. You can feel better than you felt for years, but you have to treat the cause. The unfortunate thing is there are no MS medications that treat infections. They don't know this yet. I have tons of evidence for you. Go onto my website, livediseasefree.com/MS-infections. MS-infections. And you'll see tons of studies dating back to 1911 that show that multiple sclerosis is caused by infections, as is Parkinson's and ALS and every other disease that's out there, and multiple infections. So you're not just dealing with one parasite, it is multiple infections. But the exciting thing is that if you treat these infections, you can get on with your life, you can learn from it, you can protect your family's life, your wife. I don't know if you have kids, but you can protect them so they never end up in this position again. So you are dealing with infections in the body. And unfortunately, you will see very soon, I do love my own personal doctor, but you have to understand, my GP, but you have to understand that the medically trained doctors are experts in medicine. And unfortunately, the medicines that we're using, they do not treat the cause. They will suppress your immune system. They will actually make you sicker in time, for sure. So I hope you reach out and watch my masterclass training if you're ready, if you're looking for a plan, if you want to just nip this in the bud and get on, reach out to me for sure. And Stephanie, do you sleep well at night? Cool, that's awesome. And Jeffrey, thank you so much for your kind words. Hi, Patty and Claudia, and hi, Patty. Let's see if there's any last questions here. Antoinette, what about spasticity? What infection is causing this? Well, all I can tell you is that I believe that it is a parasite. I'm like 99% sure. And this all stems from the work of Dr. Alan McDonald. So on that MS, the livediseasefree.com, MS/infections, if you go down to parasites, you will see a video by Dr. Alan McDonald talking about finding tons of these little parasitic nematodes in the spinal fluid of many people that have died of MS, everyone he tested. We know it that with animals, vets have known this for 100 years. When animals have these little worms in their spinal fluid, they have symptoms identical to multiple sclerosis. They have the spasticity, they have the balance issues, they have the drop foot, they have extreme fatigue, paralysis, numbness, it goes blindness. It's ridiculous how many symptoms are similar to MS. And so we, over the past year, have in our Live Disease Free Academy, we've been shifting. Yes, we still treat fungus. It is a big part of all chronic disease, but we had no idea how many parasites people had. Like, people that are dealing with chronic disease are infested with parasites. And some of them are infested with big worms that are coming out 1.5 to 2 feet to 1 foot to 6 inches. And we have lots and lots of pictures of them. And I did do a video on YouTube and Facebook, MS and parasitic infections. You can see some of the pictures. So I really believe the spasticity is due to a specific parasite. But again, the problem we have with something like MS is that, there's fungal overgrowth and it's giving us some symptoms. And then there's, possibly these small microfilarial worms that are giving us some symptoms. But then we may have bigger roundworms that are giving us other symptoms. And then we've got possible vector-borne infections associated with Lyme disease giving us other symptoms. And so that's why you have to work with somebody who understands all of this. And that's what we've done, is put a game plan together. And we first, like I said, stop feeding the infections. And that's what I was talking to you today about, is the Live Disease-Free Eating Plan. And then we support the body, right? We have to build ourselves up first. Then we look at our symptoms and we start usually treating parasites first. But we do hit parasites, fungus, parasites, fungus. And as we're hitting the fungus, some of the therapies that we're using are going to be hitting bad bacteria too. So it is covering some of the bad bacteria. And when you do that, even if you don't have MS, but you've got Lyme disease, you'll find that you will recover from your Lyme. If you just treat Lyme and you have all these parasites and fungus, you'll never clear the Lyme with antibiotics. You will just get sicker and sicker and sicker. So it is truly groundbreaking, the work that we're doing, the improvements that people are having. It's a wild ride. That's all that I can say. And I am so grateful to God for this opportunity to serve people in this way. So what type of infection? It's definitely parasitic. I don't know exactly which one, but Antoinette, you can treat it. Danielle, and I did not share her success. She actually, just maybe 2 to 3 months ago, she was using a walker. She hadn't driven a vehicle for a long time, at least a year or more. And she has now been not using her walker for months. All her spasms are gone, completely gone. And she is lost a ton of weight. I can't remember how many pounds. She had to go out and buy a new wardrobe. But she is driving again. And she shared, this is what I just got in this week. She shared, I played soccer with my daughter, such as kicking the ball and a little running. I'm not 100% there yet. And then she also shared, since it's MS Awareness Week, and I think that was last week, in the United States, I announced to everyone that I have MS and I am a survivor. People were shocked that you can recover from this monster. People are asking lots of questions about my condition and my weight loss. Thank you. And the Canadian team. So that's my team that's helping. So yeah, how fun is that? So she's actually playing soccer with her daughter. So Antoinette, you don't have to live with this spasticity, but you have to treat the cause for sure. Thank you for all the love. Yes. That's exciting. There is hope. There is hope for all of us. There is hope that we can live an amazing life. And that is why I am on here tonight, to tell you that you can too. Yes, it is a permanent lifestyle change. If I would have gone back to beer and pizza, I would, like, whether you get MS or cancer, arthritis or something else, it's just not worth it to me. And it's really when you lose your health that you really appreciate it when you get it back. And it's so important to me. When I can play with my grandkids, you know, they're so young, they're under 5, 2 of them. It is so much fun. And I have to keep up with them because as they get bigger, right, they're going to want to go skiing. And I've got to be in shape because I don't want to be tumbling down the mountain. So that is the key, is that, you know, what is your passion in life? What makes, and so you can get it back. I want you to have hope that you can get your life back. It is a permanent lifestyle change, Ange, absolutely. All right, I think that's it. Okay, I think that is it. Hi, or I'll just answer Jeanette. Do you cut out nightshade vegetables from your plan? That's a really good question. You know, I know that there is talk about lectins in nightshades and that they really are the plant's defense and it is negative for our health. But our students don't eat a lot of nightshades in this because eggplant would be higher, tomatoes are a fruit, we don't have potatoes, but we will have a little bit of red or green pepper on our salad, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. So we don't really focus on that, but we're not really eating a lot of the nightshades and we're not getting a lot of those lectins, and we're not having grains. So I'm just trying to think what else. We do have some nuts, but I don't think that that is a huge issue for this eating plan because we're not eating a lot of nightshades. All right, I think that is it. For some reason, I cannot scroll here. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Oh, Marie, you said you need help, you have MS, you feel so sick. Yes, it is not that your body is at war with itself. What it is that your body is overwhelmed with infection. The poisons from the infection, the inflammation from the infection, and even this eating plan that I shared with you is, number one, you can watch other YouTube videos that I have. There's a couple of others, what I eat for breakfast, dinner, and supper. And there's another one on the eating plan. I have a book, Become a Wellness Champion. You can get that on Amazon. That has but remember, that book is written for the general public. We avoid all grains, etc. But the key is that if you want your life back, if you're ready for a plan, you need hand-holding through the process. You want to treat those infections, reach out and you can get your health and your life back. You can be on the journey with all these other amazing wellness champions. We've got at least 70 students in this class right now from all over the world. Yes, Allison, let the healing begin. Hi, Jackie. Do I have I think I do have one on fungus. Just, yes, go check on YouTube. I'm sure because I talked about parasites and fungus, and I also talked about viruses, what I think about it, and Lyme disease. I'm sure I did a 5 or 6 part series on YouTube and on Facebook, on YouTube for sure, to do with MS and different types of infections. So make sure to subscribe to that, go through the videos, and you'll see them there. Sorry, I'm having a hard time scrolling through here. I hope I got all your questions. If I missed anything, I'll answer. All right, with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. So next week, what we're gonna do is we're gonna celebrate, and we haven't celebrated for a little while. So I just wanna celebrate the Wellness Champions again. So just some new successes of the students that are in the program right now. And I think that's really, really important, is to celebrate these successes, because the experts are telling us that this is not possible, right? And it is possible. So we have to get the word out. So if you know of any people that are struggling and want some hope and want some encouragement, make sure to join us 5 o'clock next week, same time, Wednesday here. I will be present to share successes of the Wellness Champions in their recovery from chronic disease. So until then, we'll see you again. See you at that time. Take care and bye-bye for now.